belonged to a royal family, and he was made a canon at Xaxa, Rhineland in Germany, where he was born. He totally lived a worldly life with his power and authority until the year 1115. After this great death experience, he was totally changed and wanted to become a strong believer. Henceforth, he received the holy orders and to reform the Xaxa chapter. Soon after this great endeavor, he himself distributed all his wealth to the poor and the needy, and he wanted to work for the people around him. By seeing his charitable work, Pope Gelasius II gave him the authority and power to preach wherever he went. In fact, he was a totally committed and dedicated man to preach the good news. Wherever he went, he gave all that he had and he preached the good news. In the year 1121, with his 13 companions, St. Norbert founded a religious order which would preach God's good news to the people. In fact, his aim and charism was to be with the people who were poor and needy. Within 10 years, the number of the religious order grew up like anything, and they reached above 500 with priests, clerics and lay brothers. In fact, his endeavors were marvelous and they changed totally the faith of the people. Later, he also founded a religious order for the women who wanted to serve the Lord with their faith and conviction. His life was an exemplary for all the people who were around him. He was totally committed and dedicated to his work, and he was preaching God's good news through his words and deeds. Later, he was accompanying the king in order to be with the people and to spread God's good news through his strong faith in the Lord. As an advisor to the king, he went to Rome to meet Pope Innocent II and to be with him. And he spent his precious time with him in order to convince him on certain church matters. Soon after his coming back from Rome, he fell ill and he died on 6th June 1134, and his shrine at Magdeburg became a place of worship and miracles. Norbert was canonized by Pope Gregory XIII in the year 1852. When the city became Protestant, his body was transferred to Prague in the year 1627. By seeing this great act, around 600 Protestants reconciled to the church. As a result, he was proclaimed as a protector and patron of Czechoslovakia. In fact, his life is a message to all of us. He was totally a believer of God, and he was convinced with his great faith. He preached the good news of the Lord through his words and deeds. He is indeed a man who worked for the poor and spread God's good news to the marginalized. He was indeed a man of great conviction and faith. He spread God's good news through his words and deeds. All throughout his life, he served the poor and the needy. His examples are great inspiration for each of us.